Hi guys, I'm Shelly and today I'm here to talk to you about The Vampire Academy. Woohoo! Now don't get confused, I haven't started doing movie reviews all of a sudden, it's just that this particular movie came out and seeing it is a book to movie adaptation, I really had to tell you about it. Now for those of you who don't know, I am a pretty big fan of the Vampire Academy series, minus the ending of the last book, but we won't go into that because we will be here for hours. I spent a terrific amount of my time trying to get all of the beautiful red covers because they are so fabulous. So when I heard that they were going to bring a movie out of the first book, I was so excited. I was really pleased that it was kind of come out on Valentine's Day here in the UK this year, because the taglines on the movie posters were Valentine sucks and they suck. And then Valentine's Day came around and it didn't come out. We got a press release here in the UK saying that it was going to be pushed back a couple of weeks, and then that didn't happen, which I thought was really weird because they spent all this money on advertising the fact that it was coming out on Valentine's Day, so why not just put it on? And we got another press release saying it was going straight to DVD and that we'd get it in July. It came out on DVD this week. I went to get it because I was very excited about it. First thing I have to say about it, the casting is brilliant. I was really nervous about Dimitri. I didn't like him at first, the guy who was playing with him. I thought he didn't look like Dimitri. I thought he was way too kind of just stern looking. And I know Dimitri is supposed to be stern looking, I just expected him to be a little less stern. But then he comes on screen when I'm watching the movie, he opens his mouth and this Russian accent comes out and it is wonderful. I'm so glad they did go for a Russian actor. I won't insult him by trying to say his name because I know I will pronounce it wrong. Many actors can do a good Russian accent, but to have a real Russian actor just gives it a little bit more authenticity. And he smiles when he smiles. And when he laughs, he has dimples. Just you get a little crack here and there. You just get this little grin. Lissa is great, and then we have Rose. Rose Hathaway, played by Zoe Dashu. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Now, I love Rose as a character completely. She's kick-ass, she's sassy, she's essentially the anti-Bella, which is really cool. She stands up for herself, she doesn't let a man define her life. Yes, they are in her life, that's great, but she has her own wit and her own sense of identity. Not scared of her sexuality, she is a woman, she has needs, she is not going to be ashamed of them, and that is brilliant. I love her for that, and Zoe just embodies her completely. I am going to mention her cleavageness. I feel bad talking about a woman this way, but I have severe boob envy at this point. She kind of has it like, yes, I have boobs, so screw you. I'm not going to hide them just because you boys make them sexualized. They are part of me, they are part of my woman, I am proud of them. Hear me roar. She's just, it's wonderful, and I love the fact that they left that part of it in, that she's kind of very proud of the way she looks. She also looks a bit like Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games. She looks built, she looks ready for a fight. She's not skinny, stick and six. Gives a positive role model for the women watching it. The bits of the book that are in it that are brilliant. There are moments where you have dialogue straight from the book that are hilarious. You have the certain scene that we were all waiting for, which is just pure steam and wonderfulness and great. But there are a few problems with this movie. I started to watch it assuming it was going to be The Vampire Academy book by Richard Mead, and it goes along the timeline of The Vampire Academy, but then they start sticking in plot twists from Frostbite and from Shadowkissed, and that's where it all kind of goes a bit wrong. You are bombarded with information from all three of these books in such a short amount of time that your brain's just going, hey, who, what now? Slow down, hang on. You don't get time to enjoy the wonderful relationships between the characters because you are being bombarded with plot twists and plot information constantly. You don't get a time to breathe and see Dimitri and Rose kind of have sparks. In fact, I don't think they even have sparks until the very end of the movie. It takes ages to see if there's any chemistry between these two because they're so busy trying to tell you about what's going on. And you have the rather difficult discussion of Lissa's depression from using her magic and her self-harming. Now, I thought this was going to be pretty difficult to put in a movie, and I honestly didn't think they were going to put it in because it was going to be really triggering. And they sort of did, but they sort of didn't. And the way they did it was very difficult for me, I think. Instead of her becoming very, very depressed after she uses her magic and self-harming, she passes out and slits appear on her wrists. So you still get the physical trigger of seeing slits come up on her wrist, but at no point do they discuss the fact that it is emotional, or you've got the physical side effect of it, but they're not dealing with the emotional state of it. I think they either needed to leave it out or they needed to commit to it fully and put in the mental side of it, because lots of teenagers who will be watching this movie deal with these problems on a day-to-day basis, and I don't think it was dealt with in a very good way. They also describe the blood writing on the wall in a really, really bizarre, strange way and class it as a sexual act, which I find really quite strange and unnecessary. If you're not going to talk about mental health and self-harm, why on earth would you add in a sexual act? And again, goes towards somebody cutting themselves and writing in their own blood. Now, being a lover of the books, I get that I'm probably a bit biased, and it's a bit like watching the Harry Potter movies. The first time you watch them, they're just like, why on earth did they take my favourite scene out, and why on earth did they did this, and why on earth did they change that? But over time you kind of come to like them as movies on their own, and I'm kind of hoping that will happen with this movie, that they've changed so much and put in so much information that you just don't get to enjoy the wonderfulness and the funniness of the Vampire Academy, which is what made the book so good in the first place. I'm hoping it's just me. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you want to hit me up in the comments below if you've seen it or you want to talk about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do not want to put you off watching this movie. It is still a brilliant movie for the bits of the book that are in it, and that certain scene alone, it is a great movie. It's just not the book if that's what you're expecting. So hit me up in the comments below if you want to discuss it, because I'd love to know what everybody else thought of it. If it's just me being grumpy, I'm kind of hoping it is, and maybe I'm just biased. But yeah, hit me up. And that is my thoughts on the Vampire Academy DVD movie. I really wanted to like it, I really, really did. But for now, I hope you guys are good, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!